Do you ever worry about running out of ideas for your podcast? Well, fear not. In this episode, I am sharing tips to ensure you never run out of ideas again. Hi, everyone. I'm Jennifer, your host of Podcast Power. Thank you so much for tuning in. If at the end of this episode you feel inspired to keep your content flowing and you want help launching or refining your podcast, send me an email, jen@jenknoedl.com. Okay, let's get into it. Today's topic is you will never run out of ideas for your podcast with these tips. Okay, it is a common concern. What if I can't think of anything new to say? What if my content gets boring? Well, I am here to tell you, I think every single podcaster has worried about this at some point. You know, sometimes I'm thinking, well, I've already said that at some point, but I don't know about you. But I need to hear things multiple times over and over. Sometimes it's like I've heard something 100 times and then 101, all of a sudden it clicks. It's like, oh, that's a great idea. So do not even concern yourself with that. Most people are much more worried about themselves than, thinking that they've watched every single thing you've ever said and they think you repeat yourself. You know what? Anyway, you'd be in great company, right? All the great ones do. So the reality is that the content creation that you need to do, it's really just a muscle. You're going to get better every time you do it. You're going to get more ideas as you continue to do it. Your subconscious is just going to start thinking about ideas, but you just have to start. So just like any muscle, you know, your workout muscle, I'm not going to eat cookies after 9 o'clock muscle. That's my own personal muscle. I love cookies. But and then you just start seeing that inspiration's everywhere. You really just need to keep your eyes open, be aware, be thinking about that, because really the truth is, is endless ideas, right? There's just so many ways to make your new spin on what someone else has already done. There's nothing new under the sun. So the only thing that you can really add to the situation is your unique perspective. And people really want to hear that, not just your friends and family. Actually, to be honest, probably your friends and family won't even listen to your podcast. Just a lot of times that does seem to be the way that it works. But what is neat is that the people that do start listening, that are engaging, they're very interested in your content. They're not doing it as a favor. They're doing it because they too are aligned with what you want to talk about. So take heart, stay encouraged, and keep an idea bank. So whether it's on your phone, post-it notes around the house. I think I have multiple lists on probably multiple apps of, ideas that I have. So I am never at a loss for ideas. And sometimes I even organize them, right? Like quick videos I can do, videos that I need to do a little research on. So you just start creating that structure and you'll just be surprised at how your brain starts filling in the gaps. So nothing's too small. Not every single podcast has to be the same length. Just start, you can, you're the only one that really knows, your specific niche, you know how that would relate to news or pop culture or any kind of new developments that are happening. So you can use Google Trends, you can use Reddit, you can use hashtags, you can use Quora. There's so many different ways to see what people are talking about, because a lot of times, say you are going to talk about maybe your wellness business, things that are so obvious to you that you're like, that's not even worth making a video about. It is, because we forget that. I know that I forget that. I think everyone knows everything that I do, but they don't. And so even if, I'm not, if I don't know every single thing that there is to know about online marketing, I know a lot more than most people do. And chances are, with whatever you're interested in, that will be the case. But even if it's not the case, you can still be that person that's on a journey. I really feel like that's what I am a lot. I think Joe Rogan does that a little bit, where it's like, hey, I don't know everything, but I'm on the journey and this is what I'm interested in knowing. And people will hop onto that bandwagon. I tell you what. So you want to remember that you can always repurpose your existing content, right? Put a new spin on it and maybe just put it out again with like some new text. Something that's really popular, maybe you can remake it or, again, put some music to it. There's a lot of, just the fact that you posted one video 3 months ago probably not everybody saw it, or, you talked about a certain topic. Just not everyone's going to go dig down. I mean, and as you'll see, I know in your industry is the same as mine. A lot of these topics are going to intertwine. So just, don't be afraid to recycle. Recycling is good for the earth. So you climate changers. I make myself laugh. Anyway, obviously collaboration, I actually find this is something that I'm working on right now, is finding other podcasters that I can collaborate with. It can be a challenge. Not that, I find people are incredibly nice, but it's just, there's only so much time in the world. So, you really need to be specific about the people that you're trying to connect with. I know there's a lot of podcast matching services if you wanted to be a interviewer, if you wanted to interview people. But you know what? I digress. Let's try to stay focused on this particular episode, which is about coming up with topics. So, we're talking about being curious, being observant. Just being aware and open to whatever, talk to people, ask your friends and family what they think about such and such. And you'll hear some really interesting things. I went to a little art night last night, and that's not normally my crowd. And they had some very interesting conversations. I was like, this is definitely an art crowd, but it was good. It really opened up my eyes to what are people doing with their free time? How do they spend their free time? What do they think is important? What shows are they watching? A lot of horror type shows, it seems, but I digress once again. So another idea is that you want to think about batch brainstorming. So everyone is just to make good use of your time, you're going to want to try to batch some of your content, batch some of your episodes. This is actually the second episode that I am recording just today, but I will not put it back to back with the other episode, which you won't know what it is. Unless, of course, you're watching video and seeing my shirt. Really, that's the only reason, is that for, the ones with the video that, we're in the same shirt every day. So, try to mix it up a little bit. So for those people that maybe are watching the video, or it's really such small potatoes, it doesn't really matter. But you understand what I'm saying. It's, if I record 3 episodes in this shirt, then maybe I'll record 3 episodes in another shirt, and then just kind of mix them up. So, it doesn't look like I recorded 3 episodes in one day. What does it matter what it looks like? But so that's just a really good idea to make good use of your time, because take it from me, it is so difficult to come up with something fresh every single day. Some days you just don't got it, you're hurting. And so it's nice to have something in the can. Oh, it's so nice when you're like, I already did this. So you can do that the same with podcasts. A lot of these apps are going to let you schedule your podcast to come out. So, you record all, 10 episodes. It's like, hey, I got 5 weeks worth of content coming out bi-weekly. Boom. You know what I'm saying? And really, that's what's so great. Another thing that's so great about podcast is that it inherently has consistency to it, right? It's that's the idea. And when you sign up for your podcast, they're going to say, how often are you going to post? And obviously they're not going to, you don't get in trouble if you don't do it. But the point is that it's just a really great dynamic for people that want to keep coming back to your content. They know what to expect. And a lot of people like that. They want to know what to expect. I know that I like that. I can be, I like things the way that I like them, and I like them to come out on the day that they're going to say. So, I think just really one of those things, just being consistent, letting your audience know when you're going to be putting out some new information, and giving them good stuff, even if it's just your personal twist on, some age-old classic ideas. In the comments below, give me some of your, where do your best ideas come to you? In the shower, while you're running, when there's not a pen nearby? I get a lot of ideas when I'm walking through nature, I find, and I never have a pen and paper. So then I, usually have my phone. Kind of takes you away from the moment. But I find it can be just very meditative, and just the nature. I don't know, nature's magic. But let me know in the comments below, get a little engagement going, and Don't forget that I have some free podcast planning resources that you can grab at jenknoedl.com/podcast power. I don't know why it's sometimes the alliteration. I'm like, anyway, if you would like personalized help planning or launching your podcast, do send me an email, jen@jenknoedl.com. We can chat more about that. And that is it for this episode. Please like, subscribe, rate this podcast. It would mean so much to me. Thank you for listening, and I will see you next time on Podcast Power. See you next time.